The desert wind carried whispers of change as Prince William stood on the marble steps of the King Abdulaziz Palace, his eyes reflecting both accomplishment and uncertainty. Behind him lay 4 days that would reshape royal diplomacy forever. Ahead waited a world eager to understand what transpired during this groundbreaking visit to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. What began as a routine diplomatic engagement had evolved into something far more significant. The future King of England was about to leave Saudi soil, but the echoes of his conversations, handshakes, and promises would resonate across continents. This wasn't just another royal tour. It was the moment when tradition met transformation, where ancient protocols danced with modern aspirations. As his motorcade prepared for the final journey to King Khalid International Airport, Prince William carried with him more than ceremonial gifts and diplomatic pleasantries. He held the weight of new partnerships, the promise of unprecedented collaboration, and perhaps most importantly, the burden of expectations from 2 nations watching his every move. The story of these 4 transformative days would soon unfold, revealing how a prince's farewell became the beginning of a new chapter in international relations. The blazing Saudi sun cast long shadows across the tarmac of King Khalid International Airport as the royal aircraft touched down with practiced precision. Prince William gazed through the small window at the sprawling city of Riyadh, its modern skyline reaching toward the endless blue sky like fingers of ambition. This was his first official visit to the kingdom, and the weight of diplomatic responsibility settled on his shoulders like the traditional Saudi cloak he would soon wear. The aircraft door opened, releasing a wave of dry, warm air that immediately reminded the prince he was far from the cool, damp climate of Britain. As he descended the steps, dozens of cameras captured every moment, every gesture, every subtle expression that crossed his face. The reception committee waited with military precision, Saudi officials dressed in flowing white thobes standing alongside British diplomats in their formal attire. Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman stepped forward with a warm smile, extending his hand in greeting. The moment their palms touched, both men understood they were participating in something historically significant. This wasn't merely a ceremonial visit between allies. It represented a bridge between 2 very different worlds, each seeking to understand and learn from the other. The initial moments of their meeting revealed the careful choreography of international diplomacy. Every word, every gesture had been planned and rehearsed, yet there remained an undercurrent of genuine curiosity. Prince William had studied extensively about Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030, the ambitious reform program aimed at diversifying the kingdom's economy and modernizing its society. Crown Prince Mohammed, for his part, had long admired Britain's constitutional monarchy and its evolution over centuries. The motorcade journey through Riyadh provided Prince William with his first real glimpse of contemporary Saudi Arabia. The streets bustled with activity as modern cars navigated between traditional architecture and gleaming new developments. Young Saudis walked alongside their elders, many wearing Western clothing mixed with traditional garments, creating a visual representation of a society in transition. At the King Abdulaziz Palace, the formal welcome ceremony began with the exchange of gifts. Prince William presented a collection of rare British manuscripts, including historical documents detailing early trade relationships between Britain and the Arabian Peninsula. The Saudi delegation reciprocated with exquisite examples of traditional craftsmanship, silver daggers with intricate engravings and hand-woven carpets that told stories of Bedouin heritage. The first official dinner tested Prince William's diplomatic skills as conversations flowed between English and Arabic, with translators working seamlessly to ensure nothing was lost in translation. The menu itself represented a fusion of cultures, traditional Saudi dishes served alongside British favorites, each course carefully selected to honor both nations' culinary traditions. During the dinner, Prince William found himself engaged in deep conversation with Princess Rima bint Bandar Al Saud, Saudi Arabia's ambassador to the United States. Her insights into women's changing roles in Saudi society fascinated him, particularly her descriptions of how young Saudi women were entering universities and the workforce in unprecedented numbers. The conversation challenged many of his preconceptions about the kingdom and its people. The evening concluded with a cultural performance that showcased Saudi Arabia's rich artistic heritage. Traditional dances moved to the rhythm of ancient drums, while poets recited verses that had been passed down through generations. Prince William watched with genuine appreciation, recognizing the pride his hosts took in sharing their cultural treasures. As he retired to his guest quarters that night, Prince William reflected on the day's experiences. The ornate room, with its blend of traditional Islamic geometric patterns and modern amenities, seemed to symbolize Saudi Arabia itself. deeply rooted in history yet rapidly embracing the future. Through the large windows he could see the lights of Riyadh stretching to the horizon, each point of illumination representing lives and dreams of millions of people. His private secretary briefed him on the following day's schedule, which included visits to Neom, the futuristic city being built in the northwestern region of the kingdom, and meetings with young entrepreneurs who were part of the kingdom's technology revolution. The agenda reflected Saudi Arabia's determination to transform itself from an oil-dependent economy into a diversified, knowledge-based society. The security preparations for the visit had been extensive, involving coordination between British and Saudi intelligence services. Every route had been carefully planned, every venue thoroughly inspected. Yet despite the elaborate precautions, Prince William was struck by the warmth of the reception he received from ordinary Saudis who lined the streets to catch a glimpse of the visiting royal. That first evening, as he prepared for sleep, Prince William made notes in his private journal, a habit he had maintained throughout his royal duties. He wrote about the hospitality of his hosts, the genuine enthusiasm for reform he sensed among young Saudis, and his growing appreciation for the complexity of the kingdom's transformation. He also noted his surprise at how technology was being embraced across all sectors of Saudi society, from traditional industries to cutting-edge research facilities. The prince's accommodation in the palace allowed him to experience traditional Saudi hospitality firsthand. Servants attended to his every need without being intrusive. Meals were served with ceremonial precision, and every detail reflected the kingdom's commitment to honoring their distinguished guest. Yet beyond the formality, he sensed a genuine desire to share Saudi culture and values. His evening conversation with the British ambassador to Saudi Arabia provided additional context for understanding the significance of his visit. The ambassador explained how trade relationships between the two countries had grown substantially in recent years, with British companies increasingly involved in Saudi Arabia's diversification efforts. Education partnerships were flourishing, with Saudi students studying in British universities while British institutions established campuses in the kingdom. The ambient sounds of the palace, the gentle murmur of fountains in the courtyards, the distant call to prayer from nearby mosques, the soft conversations of staff members created an atmosphere of timeless tranquility. Prince William found himself appreciating the rhythm of life in the kingdom, so different from the constant urgency of London. As the night deepened, he stood on his private balcony, gazing out at the stars that seemed brighter and more numerous than those visible from England. The desert air carried the faint scent of jasmine from the palace gardens, and he could hear the distant sounds of the city gradually quieting as Riyadh prepared for sleep. His final thoughts that evening centered on the responsibility he carried as a representative of the British Crown. Every interaction, every photograph, every word spoken during his visit would be analyzed and interpreted by media, politicians, and citizens in both countries. The success of the visit would be measured not just in immediate diplomatic outcomes, but in its long-term impact on British-Saudi relations. The comfortable bed, adorned with silk pillows and fine linens, provided the perfect end to an exhausting but exhilarating day. Prince William drifted off to sleep with anticipation for the adventures that awaited him in the days ahead, knowing that each experience would deepen his understanding of this fascinating kingdom and its people. The second day of Prince William's visit began before dawn, with the call to prayer echoing across Riyadh. The prince woke naturally to the melodic sounds, finding himself oddly comforted by the ancient ritual that had marked the beginning of days in this region for over 14 centuries. His schedule called for an early departure to Noam, the ambitious futuristic city project in the Tabuk province, near the Red Sea coast. The flight to Noam aboard a Saudi royal aircraft provided stunning aerial views of the kingdom's diverse landscape. As they traveled northwest, the urban sprawl of Riyadh gradually gave way to endless desert expanses, punctuated by occasional oases and Bedouin settlements. Prince William pressed his face to the window, marveling at the stark beauty of the terrain below. The pilot, speaking excellent English, pointed out geographical features and shared stories of the ancient trade routes that once crossed these very sands. Landing at the Neom airstrip felt like stepping into science fiction. The temporary facilities sparkled with modern efficiency, while in the distance, massive construction projects transformed the desert landscape. Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman had personally flown to meet Prince William at Noam, demonstrating the importance Saudi leadership placed on showcasing their most ambitious project. The tour of Naom began with a presentation in a state-of-the-art facility that seemed to have materialized from the desert itself. Prince William listened intently as project leaders explained their vision for a city powered entirely by renewable energy, where artificial intelligence would manage everything from traffic flow to environmental systems. The scale of the undertaking was breathtaking. covering an area larger than Belgium. NEOM aimed to house 9 million residents in a completely sustainable urban environment. Walking through the construction zones, Prince William witnessed the international collaboration that NEOM represented. Engineers from dozens of countries worked alongside Saudi nationals, sharing expertise and learning from each other. British companies had secured significant contracts for various phases of the project, from architectural design to advanced technology systems. The Prince met with British expatriate workers who spoke enthusiastically about their roles in creating this city of the future. At a solar panel installation site, Prince William donned a hard hat and safety vest to tour the facility with renewable energy experts. The vast arrays of panels stretched to the horizon, capturing the abundant desert sunlight and converting it into clean electricity. Saudi engineers explained how the project would generate more power than the entire city would consume, with excess energy potentially exported to neighboring countries. The most striking aspect of the NEOM visit was meeting young Saudi professionals who had returned from studying abroad to participate in building their country's future. Princess Noura, a MIT-educated urban planner, guided Prince William through digital models showing how NEOM would integrate with existing Bedouin communities, respecting traditional ways of life while offering modern opportunities. Her passion for the project was infectious, and Prince William found himself asking detailed questions about everything from water conservation to cultural preservation. During lunch at a temporary dining facility overlooking the Red Sea, Prince William engaged in informal conversations with workers from various backgrounds. A British robotics engineer described collaborating with Saudi programmers to develop autonomous maintenance systems. A Saudi environmental scientist, educated at Cambridge, explained how desert reclamation techniques would create green corridors throughout the city. These exchanges revealed the human dimension of NEOM, not just an ambitious construction project, but a meeting place for global talent and local aspiration. The afternoon included a visit to The Line, NEOM's revolutionary, linear city designed to house 1 million residents in a structure 170 kilometers long. Standing at one end of the initial construction phase, Prince William could barely see the other end disappearing into desert haze. The concept challenged every assumption about urban planning. No cars, no roads, just a continuous environment where residents could access all amenities within a 5-minute walk. Local Bedouin leaders joined the tour, sharing their perspectives on how NEOM would impact traditional desert communities. Prince William was moved by their stories of adaptation and opportunity, particularly an elderly tribal leader's description of how his grandchildren were learning both ancient desert survival skills and modern technology programming. The conversation highlighted Saudi Arabia's efforts to bridge past and future, honoring heritage while embracing innovation. As evening approached, the group gathered at a luxury desert camp established specifically for high-level visitors. Traditional black tents equipped with modern amenities created an atmosphere where ancient hospitality met contemporary comfort. Prince William participated in a traditional Saudi dinner, sitting cross-legged on ornate carpets while enjoying dishes prepared by renowned local chefs. The entertainment that evening showcased Saudi Arabia's evolving cultural landscape. Traditional art music blended with contemporary compositions, while young Saudi poets performed verses that addressed both timeless themes and modern aspirations. Prince William was particularly struck by a poem about desert flowers blooming after rare rainfall, a metaphor for the kingdom's transformation. Around the campfire, informal conversations continued late into the night. Prince William found himself discussing everything from climate change to space exploration with Saudi intellectuals, entrepreneurs, and artists. The diversity of perspectives challenged him to reconsider assumptions about Saudi society and its capabilities. A young Saudi woman entrepreneur shared her experience launching a technology startup focused on desert agriculture. She described using sensors and artificial intelligence to optimize water usage in traditional farming, combining cutting-edge technology with ancient knowledge of desert cultivation. Her company had attracted investment from British venture capital firms, creating another link between the two countries. The night sky above the desert camp provided a spectacular display of stars, unmarred by urban light pollution. Prince William joined an astronomy session led by a Saudi astrophysicist who had studied at Oxford before returning to help establish NEOM's planned Space Research Centre. Their conversation about lunar exploration and Mars missions revealed shared scientific interests between British and Saudi space programs. As the campfire burned lower, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman shared personal reflections on Vision 2030 and his hopes for Saudi Arabia's future. He spoke candidly about the challenges of transformation, acknowledging that change sometimes created tension between traditional values and modern aspirations. Prince William appreciated this honesty and shared similar challenges facing the British monarchy in adapting to contemporary expectations. The sleeping arrangements in the luxury desert camp allowed Prince William to experience the profound silence of the Arabian desert. Lying on a comfortable bed inside a traditional tent, he listened to the subtle sounds of the night, distant camel bells, the whisper of wind through sand dunes, and the occasional call of desert wildlife. The experience connected him to centuries of travelers who had found rest and reflection in these same vast spaces. His thoughts that night centered on the remarkable transformation he was witnessing. NEOM represented more than ambitious urban planning. It symbolized a nation's determination to reinvent itself while maintaining its cultural identity. The young Saudis he had met embodied this balance, equally comfortable discussing traditional poetry and quantum computing. The prince also reflected on Britain's role in supporting Saudi Arabia's transformation. British educational institutions, technology companies, and financial services were all contributing to the kingdom's diversification efforts. This partnership offered mutual benefits. Saudi investment in energy resources complementing British expertise and innovation. Sleep came peacefully under the desert stars, with Prince William dreaming of flying cars navigating between solar panel farms and traditional souks, of artificial intelligence systems programmed in both English and Arabic, and of young people from both nations working together to solve global challenges. The mystical quality of the desert night seemed to make all possibilities feel achievable. The third morning brought Prince William back to Riyadh, but this return journey felt different from his arrival just days earlier. The familiar landscape, viewed from the aircraft window, now carried personal memories and deeper understanding. He was no longer simply observing Saudi Arabia from the perspective of a foreign dignitary. He had begun to appreciate the kingdom's complexities and aspirations from the inside. His first appointment that day was at King Saud University, where he would address a gathering of students and faculty members. The university campus buzzed with excitement as word spread about the royal visit. Students from across the kingdom had traveled to attend the event, many camping overnight to secure good seats. The diversity of the crowd impressed Prince William. Young women in hijabs studying engineering alongside men pursuing literature degrees. International exchange students mingling with local scholars. The lecture hall filled beyond capacity, with additional screens set up in adjoining rooms to accommodate the overflow crowd. Prince William's speech focused on the importance of education in building bridges between cultures and nations. He spoke about his own educational journey and how studying at different institutions had shaped his worldview. The audience responded enthusiastically when he announced new scholarship programs that would bring more Saudi students to British universities while supporting British students interested in Middle Eastern studies. During the question and answer session, the intelligence and curiosity of Saudi students became immediately apparent. A young woman studying renewable energy asked detailed questions about Britain's offshore wind projects. A male student pursuing international relations inquired about the role of constitutional monarchy in modern governance. Their questions demonstrated not just academic knowledge, but genuine interest in learning from different political and social systems. One particularly memorable exchange occurred with a student who had overcome significant personal challenges to pursue higher education. Born in a remote desert village, she had taught herself English using internet resources before earning a scholarship to study computer science. Her story embodied the transformation occurring throughout Saudi society, where traditional barriers were being dismantled to unleash human potential. Following the university visit, Prince William toured the King Abdulaziz City for Science and Technology, where Saudi researchers were developing cutting-edge solutions to regional and global challenges. He observed laboratories where scientists worked on everything from desalination technology to artificial intelligence applications for agriculture. The facility's international partnerships impressed him, particularly collaborations with British research institutions that were producing breakthrough innovations. At the Technology Centre, Prince William met Dr. Sarah Al-Rashid, a Saudi scientist who had earned her PhD at Cambridge before returning to lead a research team focused on sustainable agriculture. Her laboratory was developing drought-resistant crops using genetic modification techniques, work that could revolutionize farming in arid regions worldwide. Their conversation revealed the global implications of Saudi research, extending far beyond the kingdom's borders. The afternoon brought a visit to the historic Diriyah district, where ongoing restoration projects were preserving Saudi Arabia's cultural heritage while creating modern tourist attractions. Walking through the ancient streets with local historians, Prince William gained appreciation for the deep roots of Saudi civilization. The mud brick architecture and traditional courtyards told stories of traders, scholars, and warriors who had shaped the Arabian Peninsula over centuries. In Diriyah's restored souks, Prince William observed traditional craftspeople demonstrating skills passed down through generations. A master calligrapher created personalized artwork using both Arabic and English scripts, while jewelry makers crafted intricate silver pieces, using techniques unchanged for centuries. These artisans represented the cultural continuity that Saudi Arabia was working to preserve amid rapid modernization. The emotional highlight of the visit came during Prince William's meeting with the families of Saudi military personnel who had served in international peacekeeping missions. These conversations provided insights into Saudi Arabia's growing role in global security and humanitarian efforts. Parents spoke proudly of children who had served in Yemen, Somalia, and other conflict zones, often working alongside British and other international forces. One family shared the story of their son, a pilot who had participated in humanitarian missions delivering aid to refugees in Syria. His mother, speaking through a translator, described her initial fears about his dangerous missions, but her growing pride in his service to people beyond Saudi borders. These personal stories illustrated how Saudi Arabia was extending its influence through service and assistance rather than just economic investment. Evening brought the farewell banquet, an elaborate affair that showcased the best of Saudi hospitality. The guest list included government ministers, business leaders, cultural figures, and young Saudi achievers who represented the kingdom's future. The menu featured traditional dishes prepared by master chefs alongside international cuisine, symbolizing Saudi Arabia's openness to global influences while maintaining its cultural identity. During the dinner speeches, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman spoke movingly about the friendship between Saudi Arabia and Britain, emphasizing shared values despite different traditions. He announced several new initiatives resulting from Prince William's visit, including expanded cultural exchanges, joint research projects, and increased business partnerships. The announcements generated enthusiastic applause from the diverse audience. Prince William's response speech reflected his transformation during the visit. He spoke personally about his initial expectations and how direct experience had deepened his understanding and appreciation for Saudi Arabia and its people. He committed the British royal family to continued engagement with the kingdom, suggesting that future visits would build on the foundation established during these 4 days. The entertainment that evening featured a fusion performance bringing together British and Saudi musical traditions. The Royal Philharmonic Orchestra, which had accompanied Prince William's delegation, performed alongside traditional Saudi musicians in a concert that seemed to musically represent the cultural bridge the visit had constructed. As the evening wound down, Prince William engaged in private conversations with various guests, each interaction adding another layer to his understanding of contemporary Saudi society. A young Saudi filmmaker described her work documenting the changing roles of women in rural communities. A British businessman explained how his company was helping train Saudi engineers in renewable energy technologies. These exchanges demonstrated the practical results of international cooperation. The final morning brought both anticipation and melancholy as Prince William prepared for departure. His last official engagement was a brief visit to the British Embassy, where he met with UK citizens living and working in Saudi Arabia. Their stories of adaptation and success in the kingdom provided another perspective on the growing relationship between the two countries. Embassy staff members shared their experiences of helping British businesses navigate Saudi markets while supporting Saudi companies interested in expanding to Britain. Their work represented the daily, practical implementation of the diplomatic relationships that high-level visits like Prince William's were designed to strengthen. The motorcade journey to King Khalid International Airport provided final glimpses of Riyadh's bustling streets. Prince William noticed details he had missed during his arrival. The mix of traditional and modern architecture, the energy of young people heading to work and school, the subtle signs of a society in the midst of profound change. At the airport, the farewell ceremony was both formal and genuinely emotional. Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman presented Prince William with a traditional Saudi sword, its blade engraved with verses from both Islamic and Christian traditions emphasizing peace and understanding. Prince William reciprocated with a specially commissioned piece of British artwork depicting desert landscapes and English gardens side by side. The final handshakes and embraces carried weight beyond diplomatic protocol. Both men understood they had participated in something significant, not just a successful state visit, but the beginning of a new chapter in British-Saudi relations. The agreements signed and commitments made during the visit would require years of follow-up work, but the personal relationships established would provide the foundation for that ongoing cooperation. As Prince William boarded the royal aircraft for the return journey to London, he carried with him more than ceremonial gifts and signed agreements. He brought back stories of remarkable individuals, insights into a society transforming itself while honoring its heritage, and a deep appreciation for the complexity of modern Saudi Arabia. The aircraft lifted off from Saudi soil as the sun reached its zenith, casting the departure in brilliant light that seemed to illuminate the possibilities ahead. Prince William settled into his seat for the long flight home, already planning how he would share his experiences with his family, government officials, and the British people. His notebook, filled with observations and reflections from 4 transformative days, would become the basis for reports that would influence British foreign policy for years to come. But beyond the official outcomes, Prince William knew he had been fundamentally changed by his encounter with Saudi Arabia and its people. As the kingdom's landscape disappeared beneath the clouds, Prince William realized his farewell was not really an ending, but a beginning. The relationships formed, the understandings reached, and the commitments made would continue to grow and develop long after his departure. His successful first official engagement with Saudi Arabia had laid the groundwork for decades of cooperation and friendship between 2 very different but ultimately complementary nations.